Biggest design flaw SpaceX Starships? Design will be adjusted, reveals Elon Musk. Even though Elon Musk has staked his company's future on a massive rocket, he remains mired in uncertainty over a number of critical issues. Even the Starship's forward flaps are being redesigned. Does this mean that SpaceX Starship has no future ahead of it? If it does, what's the delay? And more so, what potentials are to be expected of the Starship? Welcome to Unlimited SpaceX, your favorite YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe now with all the notifications on. And like this video for more SpaceX, Starlink, NASA, Tesla videos, and everything Elon Musk. As of February 11th, 2022, Elon Musk gave his first formal presentation on SpaceX's Starship project in 2019, saying that the vehicle would be in orbit within 6 months. We've been waiting for that moment for over 2 years now. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on the same day that the rocket would reach orbit this year, saying he was highly confident. No information was provided on how he would prove the vehicle was spaceworthy enough for NASA astronauts or what his engineers are working on to get it ready for a test flight. A slight error in the current design of Starship's forward flap was previously stated by Elon Musk, requiring a few minor but noticeable changes to future prototypes of the spacecraft. As SpaceX supporters, we should know what the Starship is by now, shouldn't we? 100 tons of cargo can be transported into space on the SpaceX Starship, which is a 50-meter-tall stainless steel spacecraft. Starship and its 69-meter-tall Super Heavy booster will be the largest and most powerful rockets ever to fly, with more than twice the thrust of Saturn V rockets that carried Americans to the moon when they were successfully demonstrated. The rocket's operating costs are expected to be as low as $2 million per flight, according to Elon Musk's stated goal for the rocket in 2019. While Elon Musk's vision of bringing humans to Mars inspired the design of Starship's vehicle, the vehicle's most likely destination beyond Earth's orbit is the moon. Starship and its Super Heavy booster are the most easily and quickly reusable spacecraft and rocket booster ever built, with the goal of allowing both to be reused on the same day. The upper stage of this Starship is designed to achieve that reusability by falling through the atmosphere and landing like no previous spacecraft, plane, or rocket has ever flown before. For the final few dozen kilometers, 10 to 20 miles, the Starship free falls perpendicular to the Earth before fiercely flipping into a vertical position and landing propulsively on its tail instead of flying, gliding, or knife-like through the atmosphere. Now, Elon Musk says 2 of the 4 flaps that essentially allow this unique maneuver are slated for a minor but major change. Full-scale Starship prototypes flew 5 suborbital tests from December 2020 to May 2021 in order to prove that SpaceX's futuristic landing concept might work in the real world. Their Starship prototypes, which were more than 6 minutes long, only failed in the last 15 to 30 seconds of their flights, despite 4 of the 5 tests ended in destruction. For 4.5 minutes, all 5 Starship prototypes successfully turned down their Raptor engines and tipped over onto their bellies, before using a mix of small pressurized gas thrusters and 4 enormous flaps to bring themselves safely back to Earth. Starship employs 2 sets of forward and aft flaps to achieve a level of control similar to that of a skydiver. This unique freefall style descent naturally reduces the rocket to just 100 to 200 miles per hour, 50 to 100 meters per second, while at the same time allowing SpaceX to avoid the immense complexity and extra mass of structural wings or fins like those on the space shuttle. Furthermore, unlike the shuttle, Starship is planning to use 3 of its 6 Raptor engines to flip into vertical configuration and land like SpaceX's Falcon boosters, which have been a huge success for the company. Re-entry, in which Starship employs a heat shield made up of 15,000 ceramic tiles to slow from orbital Mach 25 or 7.5 kilometers per second to subsonic speeds, requires the deployment of these flaps to adjust the vehicle's angle of attack and hence the degree of intense heating that's encountered. Elon Musk claims that SpaceX will reduce the size of Starship's forward flaps, relocate them closer together, and slant them toward the ship's leeward side to increase the moment arm, i.e. leverage or, all else equal, torque, and reduce or remove unfavorable aerodynamic properties. Because of these seemingly inconsequential alterations, SpaceX may be able to eliminate static aero covers that currently wrap around the ship's flaps to keep hot plasma and gas from accessing delicate components during re-entry. SpaceX's thermal protection team completed the first ever installation of heat shield tiles on one of those forward flap aero covers just a few days ago, a structure and portion of the heat shield that will apparently no longer be needed in future Starships. Interestingly, for the first time being, however, it appears that Ship 20 will try the first orbital launch of Starship using its now outdated forward flaps. The next prototype of Ship 21 can use the revised flap design, depending on how far the long production is. It's been a year since all of this happened, though. The stakes are extremely high now. Elon Musk warned SpaceX staff in November 2021 that the firm would go bankrupt unless they could launch Starship once every 2 weeks by 2022. Later, he said it was only in the worst-case scenario, but the vehicle's importance to SpaceX is undeniable. Progress has been made since that time. The spacecraft has attempted to return to a landing pad numerous times, but each time it has ended in a horrific crash. Last tested in May of 2021, the vehicle flew to a height of 10 kilometers before safely descending to the ground. It also demonstrated a redesigned, more efficient version of the engines that'll propel Starship into space, if the business can construct enough of them that work without melting down last Thursday. Exactly what are the plans for the Starship in 2022? As a matter of fact, this is the most frequently asked question on a lot of people's minds at the moment. The vehicle's first orbital flight is now in the process. A new rocket booster called Super Heavy will be needed to lift the Starship out of the Earth's gravitational pull. First, SpaceX proposed a test flight where the Super Heavy booster would launch the Starship into orbit before landing in the Gulf of Mexico, while the Starship itself would orbit the Earth before lowering itself to a soft landing in the ocean near the Hawaiian Islands. According to Elon Musk, the vehicle could reach orbit this year, depending on when he obtains the necessary launch licenses and how rapidly his factory can make engines for the rocket. There's a big list of issues to deal with before they can move on, though. Powerful engines, called Raptors by the manufacturer, are needed in order for the vehicle to function properly. As a result of their usage of full-flow stage combustion, the engine's reusability may be at risk due to its extremely high temperatures. This type of engine has never been put into service in a commercial aircraft. Elon Musk's warning about the company's possible demise was sparked by issues with production of these engines. Raptor's second iteration was recently presented by Elon Musk, who said it was simpler, less expensive, and more powerful than the first. There is still work to be done on the engine's inclination to melt when it's running, he said. SpaceX also faces regulatory challenges, while the company is working to get its Starbase spaceport in Boca Chica, outside of Brownsville, Texas, operational. This month's FAA environmental evaluation is likely to be completed, allowing SpaceX to begin building out the infrastructure required for its launch site and obtaining an orbital launch license there. What is the potential of SpaceX's Starship? In this way, Elon Musk's long-held dream of a totally reusable rocket would be fulfilled. A new era has dawned in the space industry thanks to SpaceX's Falcon 9, which features a reusable first stage and a cargo fairing. However, a second stage with tens of millions of dollars in equipment is still discarded. But with Starship, each part of the ship, including the rocket booster, would be repurposed. According to estimates, the rocket's cargo capacity into low Earth orbit is roughly 100 tons. For NASA's plan to return American astronauts to the moon, it plans to use SpaceX as both a supply ship and the landing system, which will carry supplies and shuttle astronauts to the lunar surface. Using the rocket's vertical landing capability, it could descend to Earth's nearest neighbor while carrying astronauts and all the heavy equipment that keeps them alive. Starship's heavy lift ability could make networks of large satellites more economically feasible. The U.S. Defense Department has even suggested that vehicles like it could be used for the delivery of military supplies abroad. A rocket can circumnavigate the globe in 90 minutes. However, an airplane can't. Magnificent, isn't it? Alright, that's it for today's video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button for more videos. And of course, always leave your comments down below. See you soon!